I want to, before we get into our Indian of the Baal Shem Tov, we need a little bit of a bridge. We had a big recess from before Hanukkah, and I saw something from the Midrash Rechavia, which is very interesting, which is connected to what we're going to learn. There's the following. Everybody asked the question, why do we have 8 days of Hanukkah? There was 1 can of oil from the Kohen Gadol, which was pure kosher oil, and that was only needed for 1 day. The miracle was only the other 7 days, so we should have 7 days celebrating the miracle. It's a 7-day Chag, not 8 days. 8 days, why 8? So there are many answers to the question. Many answers. The Rebbe has his own approach, and what he answered is connected to what we're going to learn, and all of our learning, as a matter of fact. He says, the following, he says, the Gemara says in Mesechet Yoma, I think it is, Yoma, yes, Chaf Aleph, I think it says, in the Beis HaMikdash, there were a number of miracles on a constant daily basis. Some of them were every single day, some of them weren't needed every single day, but there was a situation of l'mayla min hateva, nes, in the Beis HaMikdash. A very good example of that is Yom Kippur, when they all came, everyone came to the Beis HaMikdash Yom Kippur, and they were standing there, omdim tzfufim, they were standing like packed sardines. There were so many people, there was no room to move. In front of you, in back of you, on the side of you, you were packed. You couldn't budge. Everyone was standing this way. That's how packed it was. He says there was omdim tzfufim, but when they had to bow down, korim, and they were saying vidui, mishtachim revachim. So Rashi says, it's amazing, Rashi says, there was arba amos in between each person. Arba, when they were standing, there was no room to stand. They're standing like this, like sardines. All of a sudden, they're bowing down, they're saying vidui. All of a sudden, there's arba amos between each person. And how is it possible? How is it possible? And why was there need for such a distance between the people? Because the vidu that they said was not like the we have, a standard nusach. Everybody said vidui of what he felt. He had to say vidui, their own personal, so nobody should hear the advice of somebody else. So there had to be a distance that you couldn't hear. That's why they had arba amos on each side of each person.
How long did it take?
That's one of the examples of the way the Beis HaMikdash was. In other words, the laws of nature did not operate in the Beis HaMikdash.
Time and space.
Right. The physical laws of nature did not operate there. So if that's the case, the Rebbe says, why is there a kasha? Why is there a kasha about why do we have 8 days instead of 7 days? The first day also, the lighting of the menorah, the first day, was also one of those things that didn't apply to the laws of physics. In other words, what the halach is, some people said, you know what they did? They poured in only 1/8, 1 can of oil, they poured in 1/8, and it lasted a whole day. You're not allowed to do that. The halach is you have to pour in the entire can, enough to burn the entire time. You can't put in 1/8. Put in 1/8, it's not going to burn the entire time. You have to have a 1 can, which was enough for 1 full day, so you have to empty the whole can. So it couldn't be that. Shalom. So what happened? So the Rebbe says, very simple. They emptied the entire can and they filled up the entire menorah. And the next morning when they came, the menorah was still full. In other words, the light burned, but it did not decrease the amount of oil. So therefore, the first day was also a miracle. Because normally, as the flame burns, so it uses up some of the oil, and it should go down in the cup. But it didn't go down. It stayed where it was, and therefore, all 8 days, the menorah was full. It did not decrease in oil at all.
And they didn't add
They didn't have that. They didn't have. They have to go. It took them 4 days to get it. 4 days to come back to get kosher oil. They didn't have. So it says that is the. So what is all? What's all going on? What's it's all about? It's about one thing. We have to realize we are extremely, extremely privileged, but we don't realize how fortunate we are. When Hashem created the world, there was, as it says in the Torah, Vayehi Or. Look in the first pasuk, it's 2 psukim, Vayehi Or. Count the gematria of the word Yehi. What's the gematria of the word Yehi? Yud, Hey, Yud. Right? How much is Yud, Hey, Yud? 25. Or is Or. If you count the number of words in that pasuk, you'll see that Or is the 25th word in the Torah. From Bereshis to the word Or, it's a 25th word. And he's getting a hakdama to it in the word before it, Yehi Or. Vayomer Elokim Yehi Or. And it was up. So 25 is why, it's not a coincidence, why we have the miracle that we celebrate Hanukkah on Chof Hey Kislev. Because of that, Chof Hey Kislev. But what kind of or was that? There was no candlelight when they should. Adam wasn't created yet. Adam was that was the first day. Oh, very good. It wasn't a light that I don't think it was a light which was physical light. I don't even know if it meant sunlight because the sun didn't come until the 4th day. Sun didn't come till the 4th day. So what kind of or was it? There was a certain kind of light of awareness. A certain kind of light of awareness, which that light gave you a vision of the entire creation. Everything that was ever going to be, anyone who had any kind of concept of what that light was, and Adam, Rishon, and Chava had it. They had it for 36 hours. When they were created on Yom Shishi, Friday, they had it for 12 hours, and on Shabbos it remained. Motzei Shabbos, Hashem took the ors and was magnizit in a geniza. It's called the Oreganus. Organus. That or comes back on Hanukkah, comes back on Shabbos, comes back on the Chagim. That or Haganus. But it's available also. Every one of the first say, where did Hashem hide this or? Where did he hide it? You know where he hid it? He hid it in the Oisius of the Torah. Where? The Oisius of the Torah, the letters of the Torah, the Hebrew letters of the Torah. That's where Hashem hid it. In the Lashon HaKodesh. Here, Chanoch. You have to make that part of your neshama, the Lashon HaKodesh, the language. You got to get into it. That's where the Organus was hidden. And when we daven, we are arousing that Organus. It's a tremendous, tremendous course that we have, a tremendous privilege that we have to be able to tap into that Organus. That hidden or that comes out when we say words of the Torah, we say words of Tefillah, we're using the Organus. That's why I brought in the Hakdama of what the Rebbe said before we actually get into the words themselves. So it's a very, very, very special, we'd say, privilege that we have to be able to use Lashon HaKodesh and get the Organus to come out, and therefore, if you daven properly, you can have all kinds of wonderful things happening because very difficult to know how that affects everything. It's so general, but it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to realize that you have the privilege to get into that inyan of that Or HaGanuz, which was for 36 hours in the beginning of creation, that Hashem hid it away. He hid it away. It cannot be available to everybody. It can't be available. The world is not ready for it. Can't use it. But at certain times, at certain people, you have the ability to tap into that Or, and it's a wonderful, wonderful privilege and a big schos. Now,
they're merit, I guess, the other way, to study the Hebrew language like one studies the Torah, because it is the holy language, and you just study it. Whether you ever get to a level that you're actually using it on the street.
Well, you're still interacting with it. It has to have some. Okay. Well, that's number one. Number two, there's another very important message, and that is what I was taught I went to Baruch Hashem. I was zeicha to go to yeshiva when I was 4 years old. I was put into kindergarten for yeshiva already. When Baruch Hashem was brought up, in a religious atmosphere, and I was taught in elementary school in the yeshiva. I don't remember which class I learned it, but it stuck with me until today. Tefillah b'loy kavana kiguf b'li neshama. That's what I was taught. We can't imagine how important it is to have kavanah. Now, this is something very, very difficult because things that you do on a continuous daily basis become habitual. And if it's habitual, you don't concentrate on it. You don't concentrate, you just say it, it's in the back of your mind. You do what you have to do, and that's it. I was just thinking the other day, next door, here on the other side, further down on Ibn Ezra, there's a big house there. The woman, the owner of the house, has put up all over the front and on the sides, Kol habayit hazeh mitzulam. Mitzulam. There's cameras all over. You should know. She wants to prevent people from breaking in. People shouldn't think they can just break. Everything is recorded. Everything is on screen. Everything is a film. So when you hear that, when you see that, well, you think twice. You think twice. And you ever think about it? When a person comes in with a camera, or today they use cell phones to take pictures, the camera is anymore, a cell phone, and you're on film, you look different, and you think different, and you behave differently, because you're being photographed. So you want to have, a good impression, so you're careful of what you say, what you do, whether you act. Isn't it amazing? We are on film 24/7. We are being photographed 24/7. And the photograph is a bigger photographer than we can imagine. He goes inside us too.
Even when we sleep.
Even when you sleep. Inside you or outside, you are 24/7 being photographed. If we would think that all the time, you imagine how people would be different? And it's true. We all believe that. We know it. 24/7 we are on film. Nothing is lost. You forget about it, they can play back, all your years, all the way back. It's all on film. Nothing is lost. Everything is preserved. It's absolutely amazing. My wife tells me things that I forgot about, that happened 30 years ago. She remembers everything. So I boy, and she's right, and she remembered it. I forgot about it.
Nobody on earth can get a warrant for this footage, though, right?
So therefore, we're dealing with what we call this or haganus. It's very, very important that we try as much as we can and realize, of course, we're being photographed at the time that we're davening. We're being photographed as well. And surely at that time, because then we're inside. You're not outside in the street. You're inside. You're coming into my palace. You're talking to me. I want to see how you stand, how you think, how you say the words. Everything is being photographed, and therefore you're evaluated according to the way you behave. Okay, so let's see if this is the one I want to show you. No, this is not the one I'll show you. All right, this on the next page. Let me see. Okay, listen to this. This is absolutely amazing. This awareness came to me. I don't know how long ago, but I've told it over to a number of people, and it's really, really amazing. Baal Shem Tov says here in our Hachana for Tefillah, we're talking about this is what the shir, but you're a newcomer to shir. You haven't, but basically our shir is the Baal Shem Tov on Tefillah. That's the basic, misger, the basic framework. So he says here on page 152. I didn't photograph this page. I photographed the other one for you. We'll tell you in a minute. It's a very interesting thing. So Baal Shem Tov says, you want to know if your tefillah was accepted or not. Is there any way you could know whether your tefillah was accepted? You can do your part. You say what you have to say. Think what you have to. How do you know Hashemayim if they accept it or not? How do you know? So he says, there is a way. It's not the Baal Shem Tov making it up. It's a Gemara. It's a pasuk in Tehillim. And the Gemara talks about the pasuk also. It says, take a look in Tehillim, if you have a Tehillim, or look it up on your phone, Tehillim, Perik of Mizmor Yud, I think it's pasuk Yud Zayin. Yud Zayin. You're looking it up? All right, Yud Zayin. Read, I'll wait for you. Read the pasuk. Yud Zayin.
What number?
Perik 10, or Mizmor 10, 17th pasuk. Yud Zayin. Take a look. What do you have? Yud.
Yes, Perek Yud.
No pasuk, Yud Zayin.
Yud Zayin.
Hebrew or English?
Ta'avat ani.
Oh, that's the pasuk. No?
Ta'avat aniyim. Tamata.
No?
Hashem tachin libam.
Tachin libam, takshiv aznecha. Oh, what did the pasuk say? Baal Shem Tov says, it says there, tachin libam, the end of the pasuk, takshiv aznecha. So Baal Shem Tov says, what do those words mean? If you have hachanas halev, tachin libam, takshiv aznecha. David Melech is making a request in Tehillim that if people have hachanas halev, takshiv aznecha. So you should listen, Hashem. You listen, because they prepare themselves. They're making their efforts to have the kavanah. So you listen to them, Hashem.
What does it mean, Ta'avat anavim?
A person who's an honor, what is his desires? What is the desires? But the first part of the
Ta'avat
question
anavim?
means an honor. Or ani, could be an ani also. But that's not what we're learning in the pasuk. It's only from the second half of the pasuk.
Yes.
Now this pasuk is an amazing pasuk. If you just think about it, the first part of that pasuk is hachanas halev. The Baal Shem Tov says, if that is there, then the second part of the pasuk will be mekuyim also. Will be takshiv oznech. Your ears will listen. So David Melech is making that request. If people talk to you, Hashem, and they have hachanas halev, so you listen to them. So the Gemara brings that as a raya, and the Baal Shem Tov brings it also as a raya. That is the siman. If you want to know if your tefillahs were answered, just think, did you have hachanas halev or not? Did you have hachanas halev? If you had hachanas halev, you were concentrating, and you made an effort not to be distracted in the middle of davening, and you put your mind on it, and if you did have a distracting thought, you stopped davening for a moment, and says, get out of my head. And then you went on, then you know that Hashem listened, because you made the effort, you had hachanas halev. That's a very simple understanding. But here comes the deeper part of it. Be medayik in the words. Be medayik in the words. David HaMelech should have said, Yachinu libam, they will prepare their hearts, the takshiv oznech, and then you listen. Or hefinu, they prepared their hearts, they did the work, they did the ma'amatz, so you, Hashem, will listen. David HaMelech didn't say that. Didn't say that. What did it say, Rabbi Ram? What did it say?
You first say and then...
No, look, the Lashon. What's the verse say?
Tachin libam?
Translate that. Wait, what does it mean, tachin libam? What does that mean, tachin libam?
Prepare your heart.
Tachin, no. Tachin libam, it's a request to Kodesh Baruch Hu. You, Hashem, tachin libam, you prepare their hearts.
Nice.
And then you will listen. What? Where David Melech is saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you prepare their hearts and you listen to their words. What about us? Don't we have to put some effort into it? Hashem's going to make the hachana for us? Tachin libam. You have prepared their hearts and then you listen to their words? What about them? What did David Melech say? You know what he said? He said something extremely, extremely profound. He said, no.
I should have read not Tachin libam. Hashem Tachin libam.
Okay, but he's talking to Hashem. No,
Yeah.
he's talking to Hashem.
If
That's not the problem. He should have said, Yachinu, they'll prepare their hearts and you listen. When they do the work, so they're deserving, then you should listen to what they said. They're making the effort. He didn't say that, David HaMelech. He said, you prepare their hearts. What is he saying, David HaMelech? You know what he's saying? He said, as hard as we try, no matter how much effort you put into, don't forget, a person is a sponge. You have a mind that is a sponge. It has so many things going on in the world, so many things in your life that are going on with you yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You have all kinds of things, and friends, and family, and a million things that are on your mind. How are you able, when you have a God that you cannot see, how are you able to get yourself completely focused and be successful in that and not be disturbed by all kinds of things? If you're talking to a person that you can see, so you're very concentrated because you're looking at him and he's looking at you, so then you're really in it. And you don't get distracted because it's something you have in your mind, you focus on it. But it's something which is in the air. How can I be successful? It's very hard. Very hard. I don't have something to remind me. I have a person looking at me, so it's focusing on me, it's causing me to give my attention to it. But I don't have that. It's a Chodesh Baruch Hu, it's all over. So David HaMelech is saying, you have to help them, Hashem. You have to help them. They're going to make the effort, but if you're not going to help them, they will not be successful. In order for you to daven properly, to have proper kavanah, you have to have the siyata d'shmaya. You hear that? If you don't have the siyata d'shmaya, David HaMelech is saying, Hashem is not going to help you like I ask, tachin libam, then you're not going to listen to them because you didn't help them. So what are we supposed to do? Where's our job? When do we come into it? When we come into it, we have to wake up in the morning and ask Hashem for Siyata D'Shmaya that we should be able to daven without disturbance. It's not enough before Shemon Esrei to gird yourself. I said, no, I'm going to talk to God, I'm going to concentrate. It's not enough. If you don't have Siyata D'Shmaya to do that, you will not be successful. You're going to have all kinds of disturbances. Years ago, there's a sefer called Taimim HaMinhagim. Sefer which has all the minhagim of Klal Yisrael, more or less. I have that sefer in my house. And I opened it up one day, and I saw at the beginning of the sefer, he has a little section where he says, when you wake up in the morning, before you make any brachas, before you wash your hand, I'm fine. Before you make any brachas, you have to make a special tefillah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's going to work for the whole day. I have that tefillah here. If you want, please take a picture of it. You have your phones, take a picture of it, and you have it on your phone and open it up every morning. Yes. You have it. Take a picture of it. And that tefillah tells you that you're asking God throughout the day, please help me to concentrate. I shouldn't have distractions of any kind. Yes, I showed it before. I bought it.
You give us.
I gave it to you before, but it was a long time ago. But you have to use it.
Not every day.
All right, trying to make it a habit. To use it every day. So you have to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu at the beginning of the day to help me not to be distracted so that I can daven properly. All right, so that was at that point. So the Baal Shem Tov says, on this Inyan, Shemaiti Mimori, this is the Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov called the Rabbi Yaakov Yosef Mapolana. He was the Talmud of Baal Shem Tov. He says, Shemaiti Mimori, I heard from my Rebbe, from the Rebbe, on this pasuk, Tachin Libam Takshiv Asnecha, Ratzaloma, Ki Siman Zeh Mosabi Adam. This is a way for a person to know, She'im Nis Damein, Sheyuchal Lahachem Nibo, this Palel, the fun of Yisbarach Shemov, if it came out, that you were able to prepare yourself and get your mind on track without having B'li Machshava Zora al Kol Panim, or B'tchilu Rechimu Kol Echad Afi Madregosav, Oz Yeda Ki Niskabla Tefila Hahu. Then you will know that your tefillah was accepted. That is hinted to us at this pasuk in Tehillim. Ki be'eis shemispalel yuchal leida shetekubal tetakshiv azno yizbarach shemo v'divrei pi chacham chen. So that is the siman to know whether your tefillah was accepted. Think about after your davening. Did you have kavanah? Did you put your mind onto it? Did you have disturbances? And if you had a disturbance in the middle of Shemona Esrei, which is normal, it's normal for people to have all kinds of thoughts come in the middle of Shemona Esrei. But the trick is, when you have those disturbing thoughts, those distracting thoughts, do you still continue saying the words of Shemona Esrei while those thoughts are in your mind or not?
No.
That's the trick. The trick is, you have to be on top of it the entire time. You have to be totally in control, not be a robot. Not to be a robot. You have to be in control of yourself the entire time. You have to have that awareness that you get from the Oregonus. You have to have that awareness. I am standing in front of the Ribono Shel Olam, Melech Malchei Amlachim. I cannot say empty words to him. I cannot say words when my mind is someplace else. He knows what's in my mind. He's filming me, and he's filming me on the inside too. How can I be so disrespectful? I have to be able to stop and get my mind back on track, push out all of those. Then I can go on. If you do that, then you have a guarantee that your tefillah is accepted. Okay.
I have a problem.
Yeah.
When we say Hashiva Shufetin, well, it's dangerous. If we had Sanhedrin and we had the Shoftim, we make something wrong. We are going to pay immediately high prices.
Why? Everyone who does something, when you have a Sanhedrin, everyone go to Bezdin for every little thing? No, I don't think so. I guarantee you, if we would have a Sanhedrin, life would be a lot better. Life would be a lot better if we had a Sanhedrin. Halavai. All the people, all the Dayanim in the Sanhedrin, they were all Anshe Maila, Malachim. It'd be a lot better. Okay. All right, I'm going to pass out this page. Please take one and pass the rest down. One page, 150. 150. All right.
We did it already.
Yeah. Dwarf the Sidney Fizuk.
Not 100, then one.
We're dealing now with a concept which is a very difficult concept. So let's try to understand the concept first before we look at what the Baal Shem Tov says. When Hashem created the world, and we think of the Big Bang, that was late in creation. That was late. The Big Bang was not the beginning. There were many, many levels of creation way before that, but they were all spiritual creations. Now those are also creations because before any creation took place whatsoever, what was there? Only Hashem. The only thing that is forever is Hashem. Hoya, Hove, V'yiyah. Hashem is forever. He is what we call infinite. There is no beginning, there's no end, it's just a constant state of existence. That's Hashem. And there's nothing else. Only Him. That's the only thing which has any reality to it, any real permanent reality to it is Hashem Himself. Now, there's a very big philosophical question, which we're not going to go into right now. And the question is Hashem perfect or not? What would you say?
Is Hashem perfect?
Yes? What else can you say? Hashem perfect or not?
It's not for me to judge.
Well, what we... You're right. You're 100% right. You're enough. 100% right. But if you had to answer, what would you say? All right. What would you say?
Perfect, but you can't do contradictory things.
You're saying a but? Then he's not perfect.
You can't do contradictory things. That's absurd.
Well, how do you define what's contradictory? And that's according to the way you understand it, right? The way you understand it.
You can't say something is blue and it's really red. You know, it can't be both. It's one or the other.
Well, what is
Just
this?
mix.
What we spoke about before about the base on Mikdash? The laws of physics did not apply. Time and space didn't apply. So there could be contradictory things. There could be oil, which is burning, a bright light, and the oil does not get consumed. But there's something fueling that flame. What's fueling it? There's something which is lamayla min hateva. There are things which are beyond our understanding of what's contradictory. There you have, right? It's contradictory. It doesn't make sense. Something has to fuel the wick. Something has the oil has to, but the oil is not being consumed. It's not moving. So there is an existence which is beyond what we understand. So I would say, my humble opinion, like Avram said, Hashem is perfect. Hashem is perfect. That's it.
At least twice in the Torah,
Yeah.
Hashem says he regretted something. Before the Mabul, and again with after the golden calf.
Very good. Very good. So how can Hashem regret? If Hashem is perfect, how can he have any regrets? It's all for us, for our understanding. Hashem himself never regrets. He knew beforehand that there's going to be a Mabul here. He knew before there's going to be a Mabul. He knew beforehand there's going to be a Holocaust. 6 million Jews are going to be killed. He knew that too when he created the world. No question. Hashem knows because in Hashem there is no such thing as past, present, and future. Hashem is above time. It's all happening at the exact same time for Hashem. There's no difference between past, present, and future. And so he knows everything. He knows everything. Yeah. So it's also therefore it's not shaykh to say he could regret. How could he regret? If he regretted it, why did he do it to begin with?
That's where it's written. Yeah.
Right? It's only written for us. Only for us. For the way we look at the world, we have to understand that there's such a thing as Hashem, you had a chance for goodness and you muffed it, and therefore you got bad. You have reward and punishment. You have to make choices in the Torah. You choose life, don't choose death. Choose the right, don't choose the left. This is all for us. But as far as Hashem is concerned, from his point of view, everything is already known, everything, past, present, and future, it's all happening at the exact same time. There's no difference. Yeah, Rabbi.
Is hara, in essence, good?
Very good. Very good question. Rabbi's question, is evil essentially good? This is the question that the Ramchal talks about. The Ramchal talks about it. Yeah?
Adam had to become less than perfect in order to earn perfection. That's their position. That he was already, without a blemish, that he was first made. The whole plan that you have to earn your way to the world to come. So he had to sin to be able to make the comeback.
Well, I don't know if that's so. You could be created at a certain level, but go higher. Not that you have to fall down. For the level that I am, I can go higher and build on what I already have. Not necessarily I have to be a minus in order to go. So I don't think you have to say that, yeah, according to what we understand it. It's always possible to go higher and higher in levels of goodness rather than to have to be a minus. So I'm not so sure that he had a sin, according to the way we understand it. All right, anyway. My question is, and I'm not going to answer it now, we're not going to go into it right now. Let's make the assumption in our tremendous humility and modesty, that Hashem is perfect. The question is this. It's not my question, but I became aware of it years back, and Baruch Hashem, I have an answer. So also, I don't think it's my answer either. If Hashem is perfect, think of this idea. Perfection is a state. It's a state. It's a reality, an existence. An existence. Now, we know that on Shabbos, we have a difference than we have the first 6 days of the week. What are the first 6 days? Sheishes Yomim Tavod, V'yom Hashvi Shavas Vayinafash. Shabbos is all the result. The week, the further week, you have a build-up, work, comes Shabbos, oh, Bo Shabbos, Bo Menucha. Where would you put Hashem? Where would you put Hashem in the Sheishes Yom Tavod, or would you put Hashem in the state of Menucha? I would say, if he's perfect, then he's a Menucha. That's it, he's perfect. Doesn't have to work. It's all there, perfect. My question is this, I'm not going to answer it now, because it's too big of a chiddush. It's a very important question, and the answer is very important also. If Hashem is perfect, what in the world did he do to create something? Why did he need it for? He's already perfect. What can be better than perfection? What can be better than perfection? Absolute perfection. Why did you have to... Why did he create anything?
NACHLAOT.
What is it? NACHLAOT is already something he has to never do anything. Why do you ever do anything? What for? What for? It's a very important question. I don't want to go into the answer now because we'll get off the topic, too much off the topic. We brought that in just there, Agav, but it's an important question. You can think about it. Maybe next week, believe that there. Maybe next week, next Sunday, when we meet again, we'll see. But the point is this.
He's living.
Who? So today there's phones, everything. Recordings.
It'll be online.
There's phones recording today. Nothing's lost today. The world was created, as we said, when Hashem created the Big Bang, was very late in the continuum of creation. The first creations were all spiritual. All spiritual. What we call them, we give them words. We call them olamot, worlds, sfirot, various levels of spheres of some kind. These were all created before the physical world came into existence. And our Sifrei Kabbalah tell us that there are basically 10 levels. 10 levels. It starts with the 10 spheros, which was, the first one is Keter. It goes all the way down to Malchus. Keser, Chochma, Bina, Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Malchus is the last level. Okay, that's all spiritual. Where are we? Where do we fit in to this continuum of creation? Where do we fit in? We fit in at the very, very tip of the last level. We said there are 10 levels, call them 10 spheros. And the last one, which we call Malchus, is at the very, very tip of that. That's where the Big Bang took place. That there was, in that place, a switch from a spiritual creation to a physical. That took place in that level. Now, these levels that we spoke about, or the sphirot that we spoke about, have all kinds of nicknames. Not all of them are always their regular names. They always have other names too. The last level, which we said is called Malchus, has another name which we're very familiar with. That is the word Shekhinah. Shekhinah. That is the last level, the Shekhinah. 10th level of the spiritual creations, called Malchus, or sometimes it's called the Shekhinah. Now that is a spiritual creation. But within that spiritual creation took place the Big Bang, a switch let's call the Shekhinah itself the 10th level of the spiritual creations, all the 10 spheros. The last level is called the Shekhinah or Malchus. Within that, it has its own 10. It has its own 10. And in that system of 10 of the Shekhinah is where we are. So in other words, what we're saying here is something very, very profound. We are living inside the Shekhinah. That's right. We always think of it as differently. We think, Ani omed lifnei Shekhinah. I am praying to God, and we call that sometimes the Shekhinah. I'm standing in front of the Shekhinah and I'm talking to God. Am I talking directly to the God, the one who made all the creations? No. Who am I to get to that level? I can't speak to him all the way up there. He's the king. He's in the inside, the inner sanctum. I can't get to him. I can only get to him through the regular channels. I can go through the lowest level and slowly go up and up and up and up. I can come to a certain level. I never speak to him directly. It's too far up, too far away, too spiritual. I'm so physical. I can't. It doesn't work. There's no connection. No connection at all. The only thing I have connection to is the lowest level that I am part of, as he said, Avram?
Yaakov Meir.
Yaakov Meir. V'shalchanti b'seicha. Asuli migdash v'shalchanti b'seicha. The pasuk in Parshas Truma. Parshas Truma. Hashem says, Asuli migdash, they should make a migdash. It doesn't say v'shalchanti b'seicha. I'm going to be inside the migdash. No, it doesn't say that. V'shalchanti b'seicha. I'm going to be inside those people who made the migdash.
In a way, we speak to ourselves.
In a way, okay, but in a sense, but we want to speak to God.
If He's within us.
All right, so that's why I said you're 24/7. You're being filmed and you're being recorded every second of the time, and He knows exactly what's going on inside your mind also. And therefore, you have to be very, very respectful, and think of it as you're being filmed. If you know that there's a camera filming you, you act differently, you speak differently. Everything you do is because you know you're being filmed. And it's going to be recorded. You know what? You want to leave a good impression. So you have to think about that. It's so hard. It's so hard. People, if they be aware of that, the world would be a different world. Am Yisrael would be a different nation. Look at the mess that we're in now. What's going on all over the world? Shem Yirachem, yes?
If Adam had refrained from partaking of the tree of knowledge until the onset of Shabbat, he would have earned the perspective that would have given him ability to choose Hashem eternally, and he would have accomplished in one day what now requires 6,000 years.
All right.
But would anybody have come after him if that had happened?
I don't know. Where are you reading from?
But it didn't happen, so it's not.
All right. Yeah, it didn't happen. The truth of the matter is, if Hashem knows exactly, it couldn't happen.
Right.
It wasn't planned to happen.
No, that.
But we're not supposed. Now here's a very difficult thing. Try to understand this. This is very difficult because it's contradictory. Hashem knows everything beforehand, from beginning to end. There's nothing that Hashem doesn't know. He knows everything as far as Hashem is concerned is taking place in the present. There's no past, present, future. He doesn't exist in time. He's above time. Then where is our free will? Where is our free will? And we're told in the Torah, Ubacharta, you have to make choices, and you get rewarded or punished by your choices. But is it true? It seems to be all a game. If we know that absolute truth is that Hashem is always, is, there's no such thing as time. He knows everything beforehand. So He knows exactly what I'm going to choose. As we said before, He knew what the Nazis were going to do, Yamach Shemam, in the Holocaust. He knew it. Huh? All right, but we're learning Torah, and the Torah that Hashem gave us teaches us that He knows.
If I want to jaywalk across Bethlehem, Hashem may have done that for time immemorial, but
Right.
I don't know. I still have to make this decision.
That's correct. That's correct. But all right.
It doesn't help me to know that He knows.
You're absolutely right. Well, no, it does help because it's still important to have that knowledge. Because if he wasn't there, then why should I believe in him? Why should I? He's got to be up on top, above it all. He's got to be above it all. So that's the big finish. The big finish is that even though we know that Hashem is infinite, we know that. And He knows everything beforehand. He knows exactly what we're going to do before we do it. We think we're making choices. And the contradiction is that even though we know that Hashem knows what we're going to choose beforehand, He knows exactly what's going to happen in a year from now, in 2 years from now. He knows everything beforehand. We are required to put that aside when it comes to the way we live.
It's a matter of perspective. From our point of view, we
are required, we were given the Torah, and in the Torah it says, "Ubacharta b'chayim lemantichya atov." You want to have life? You want to have children to have life? You want to be, in good? You want to have Gan Eden? You don't want to go to Gehenna? You've got to make the right choices. So you say, what do you mean make the right choices? It's already been chosen for me. So Hashem knows beforehand what I'm going to choose. What do you mean I make the right choices? The answer is, mind your own business. That's the answer. Mind your own business. You have to live according to the way the Torah tells you to live, and you could know that Hashem knows it, but you have to mind your own business. Live the way Hashem told you. That's it. It's a contradiction, but we have to live with the contradiction. And that contradiction is so amazing because there is a whole system based on it. There's Gan Eden and there's Gehenna, and all of that exists according to the way we see it. Hashem created an entire system for the way we live. It's absolutely amazing. And there's Gilgulim. If you don't do it right the first time, you have to come back again to finish the job. What do I do job? What do you mean job? He already chose it. He mapped it all out already. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. You live the life the way He told you to live. That's it. It's something which is beyond you. We live within time. He lives beyond time. That's why you cannot mix into His affairs. You cannot. You're finite. He is infinite. You're finite, and therefore you have to live according to the finite rules, according to time and space and all of that. Even though you know that there's another dimension which is above that, it's not your business. Not our business. Our business is to live according to the finite rules of physics and laws. When other things mix in and then we see that there is some kind of other elements like beyond nature, okay, so that happens. But we have to live according to the way we're instructed to live, according to nature, according to physics. Make the right choices and that's it, finished. And if you walk across Batzalel and you get hit by a car, you're not going to blame Hashem because He knew it beforehand. You're to blame. Nobody else. You're to blame. You should have looked. You should have been followed the rules, followed the laws. Why'd you walk across the street? That's the way you have to live. That's it.
To be on time for your class.
That's right.
You don't have to walk across the street.
Okay, so now look at the page in front of you. Tzadivov. What did it say? Kasher matzil ha'adam nitpalel. You have it there. Tzadivov. First one with a check. When a person begins with palel, Kisha Omer, Adonai Sefasai Tiftoch, Hashchina mislabeshes bo u'medaberes hadiburin. You hear that? You think you're talking? You think you're talking? You don't have the car to talk. If you are davening the way you're supposed to daven, if you have been preparing yourself the way you're supposed to prepare yourself, when you get inside to the inner court of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, get inside, you can open up your mouth. You're standing in front of Melech Malchei HaMelachim, standing in front of the God of gods, the King of kings. Who are you? You know how much you take up in the entire universe? What does one person take up in the entire universe? You know how many trillions of stars there are in the world? Trillions of stars. There are on this planet, connected to this planet. Trillions of stars connected to this planet. What about all the other planets? What about all the other things that are going on in the universe? We have no idea. One little person, I'm a speck, not even a speck of dust, less. Huh? What efforts? You're going to open your mouth and talk to God? What? I can't do it. I can't do it. Who am I to speak? How can I can't do it. But what? Hashem told me I should do it. I have to follow the rules. Don't mix into his business. Live as if you are doing something, but you have to know that you cannot do it by yourself. You need my help. That's what he said to Baal Shem Tov. Hashchina midaberes. There's people at the beres bo. V'shachanti b'socham, as Rabbi Yaakov Meir said. V'shachanti b'socham. You don't have the koach on your own to do it. You're only a speck of dust. You're nothing. You don't have the right. You don't have the schus to open your mouth. And if you're aware of where you're standing, how you've been building yourself up, you say, when you say Shema Yisrael, you know what? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. What are you supposed to be thinking when you say the word Echad in Shema Yisrael? What does the word Echad mean? What does it mean? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. You know what you're supposed to be thinking when you say Hashem Echad? Ein od milvado. That's all it is. That's all it is one God. There's nothing else. And therefore, you become non-existent.
We're praying not for Hashem, but for ourselves. We need it. We need everyone's language, but we need to pray.
Of course. I know, but you're praying to something, to someone.
Yes.
So we're saying to Hashem, to that something, I don't know, sufficient to open up my lips because I don't have the strength to open up my lips. Who am I? If I think about who I am in relation to you, who am I to say anything? Who am I to say anything? I'm just happy that I exist altogether. That I'm here. What do I know? What do I know? I know nothing. So I'm asking you, Hashem, to open my lips. If you don't help me to open my lips, I can't do it. Hashem tiftach. I don't feel it's right for me to do it. So he says, the Baal Shem Tov says, you should know that that's what happens. Hashchina mislabeshes bo medaberes hadiburim. And when you have this belief, you have this internalized, this idea, shashchina medaberes elu hadiburim bevadai tipol alav emo v'yiro. That's the only thing that could possibly be the result. You realize that you are not able to speak on your own. It's the koach of the Shekhinah that's inside you, which enables you to move your lips. It means literally, Sifatai tiftach, my lips are sealed, I can't say anything. Who am I to speak in front of Melech Malchei HaMelachim, who created the entire universe? Who am I to speak? What am I? How much do I take up in the entire universe? I'm a zero, a minus. I'm not even a zero, I'm a minus.
So,
yeah.
Even ein zero, efes,
No.
even efes can.
But this is what he's telling you. You have to think this way, that I on my own I can't do it. It's not right for me even. It's not even respectful for me to come and speak to God. Who am I? Who am I? What am I? Only because the Shekhinah is inside me and Hashem told me to come and do it. Therefore, he's giving me the koach to do it. But I have to ask him to help me.
If he has created me,
Yes.
had a purpose, and I can ask him, what was your purpose with me?
All right. After you get into it, you can ask him that question. Yes, you can. But first, you have to get into you have to open it up. You have to have the introduction. You ask him first to help you speak. So then you can ask them your question. But first you have to be able to fully to open up your lips. If you come to a certain place, and you've been thinking about it for weeks and for months, and finally you get there, oh, wow, now I'm so overwhelmed. I prepared it all, but I don't have the koach to open my mouth. You can't. It's too overwhelming. Too overwhelming. I can't do it. So you have to ask this koach that gave you the power to get here to help you to open your lips, to be able to move your lips. You should be dumbfounded. Dumbfounded. Well, no. You're asking him to actually do it, Tiftach, open up my lips. I can't on my own. It's not right for me. It's not right for me. It's a chutzpah for me to speak. If I was one of his big malachim, maybe a major malach who's in charge of who knows, so I'm one of his appointees. No, I could come to the Creator, say, I talked to him. You created me. You gave me a job to do. But who am I? One speck. God is begunish.
It comes first Avinu and then Malkeinu.
All right, fine. That's it.
My father I can ask.
That's after you finish one esrei already.
Is the word davening a Yiddish word?
Yeah.
It
comes from the word daven libenu. Comes from there.
Translated?
Yeah.
It was translated as turn the page.
No. What, daven?
Every educated person that I told me that.
Daven means turn the page? No.
I certainly do that.
Turn the page, but that's not the word daven means. It comes to mean sort of to supplicate. The word daven, let's see. Look up the word daven. Dalet vav hey. Look it up. See what it says in English. Let's see what it says. I'll look it up for quickly. 1 second. All right, we'll stop for today, everybody. So until next week,
Why did it have to